Listen, I was in a sweater off challenge. I don't know if you know
Yeah, how'd that go?
this. We both finished. Dude, there was a YouTube live. Where were you?
Not live.
Rude. So, welcome to the Northern Knits Podcast. We are two friends in fiber who talk knitting, crocheting, crafting, and really everything in between. Background noise for episode 205 brought to you by Playing Cat. She got some new springs. I don't know what you guys might hear or might not hear, but she's having fun.
I'm waiting for a thunk and then a crash.
Oh, it's entirely possible. My name is Jocelyn, my monster is Phaedra, and my co-host is
Diana.
I currently call Winnipeg, Manitoba home. Diana calls Waterloo, Ontario home. And while we are a knitting podcast, I almost immediately derail us from something. So before I managed to do that, I found an empty box to play with. Do you want to let everybody know what we're going to cover this week? Could you not be that big of a monster?
Oh goodness, no. Full monster. This week we're going to cover what's in our cup, cool threads, woolly workings, wool gathering, and kniterature.
Super important question. Do you remember in my pattern that I've made?
Maybe.
All right. I suppose we should start with what's in our cup.
Indeed.
I'm drinking some classic Sunday night tea, which means turmeric and ginger, since it's the 28th of February. You know what that means? Tomorrow's the start of birthday month.
Woo! Tomorrow's the start of Too Much Cake.
Oh my god, there's always so much cake in March.
I'm going to try every single donut place.
Is that your goal?
Yeah.
What did you do for your birthday this year, Diana? I ordered donuts from every place that would deliver donuts within a local radius. What?
Let's see, there's the donut place, the other donut place, there's the croissant place. And there's the place that makes tarts.
So yeah, I mean, between celebrating my birthday, your birthday, the podcast birthday, yeah, you could totally hit up all those donut places.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Fully endorse this decision. I feel like it is wise that you're coming into your 30th year with great care for your health and your cholesterol levels.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm going to have an argument with my brother-in-law on why I don't need a quarter slab. I'm a single human being. Sibling! Where were we? We were talking drinks and mugs and stuff. What are you drinking?
What are we drinking? Hang on, I need to finish this button stitch and then I can tell you what I'm drinking.
Well, I already told everybody what I'm drinking. We're done that enthusiasm. It's not even that exciting, guys. Listen, I just really like turmeric ginger tea. It's really nice tea. I mean, I had some decaf pumpkin spice this week. I also had some orange ginger, and then I had some that Saskatoon. What's that? The one that I always mispronounce.
Oh.
Sea buckthorn cherry.
Yeah, that one's good.
It's a really good tea.
So I like that one.
I drink teas all day long. Sunday nights, I usually go for turmeric ginger. Why? Because I've usually had for me a heavy meal. Tonight's dinner was homemade potato chips and toasted tuna sandwiches. So it just feels like a cup of turmeric ginger tea after that and some bubbles was just the way to go.
Fair. I thought about having my standard tea, but then I'm like, nah, we're podcasting. I should have something different. Expand your horizons.
Okay.
So I pulled out the bag of raspberry leaf that you sent me in my advent calendar.
It's good tea.
It's so good. I was expecting something, well, I mean, it is a green tea, but it's like sweet.
Yeah. And it tastes good lukewarm, which, knowing how particular I am about hot beverages being hot and cold beverages being cold, and neither shall the two meet, that tells you something. If I will drink it room temperature and it's still good.
Yeah, like I was not expecting it to be so sweet. I was expecting just like kind of a normal green tea, but I don't want to say weirdly sweet because it's not weird. It was unexpectedly sweet.
It's a really kind of, I want to say like light kind of earthy green tea.
Yeah, but it's like a green sweet.
Yeah, it's really good. I love it. I love it.
I need to get more of this.
One of my best tea finds from last year. was that raspberry leaf. So good. So good.
100% getting more of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. I have to too, so that's.
The creation of 1,000 forests is in one air. let me try that sage advice again.
Oh, so smooth. Oh, so wise.
The creation of 1,000 forests is in one acorn.
A philosopher you are not.
No.
No.
Halfway through philosophical quote, chokes on own tongue.
I was watching Abby Cox, and I was watching one of her older ones, and she was doing a Q&A, and she got off on a bit of a philosophical rant, the definition of the question, how it works in her brain, right? And across the screen, she sort of blurs out that you got hashtag philosopher, and my brain was like, yeah, oh yeah, I have an ex-boyfriend who does the same damn thing. It was a question. I did not need a soliloquy or a 45-minute inner monologue.
But you got one.
But I got one on why lamps are hats. Okay, cool.
Sorry, lamps are hats?
Lamps are hats. And he wasn't wrong. He was actually very accurate.
The whole lamp or just the shade?
Lamp shade, though technically it could be the whole lamp. Because the argument is, what is a hat? Well, a hat is anything that goes on your head. Well, a lamp would go on your head. Therefore, a lamp is a hat.
It's not designed to go on your head, though.
It doesn't matter. So, that was not the question. The question was, it is all about tiny little word details and being able to argue semantics, as far as I can tell, for a philosophy degree. Makes them great thinkers, makes them slow to get to the point, which bothers the historian in me. Something fierce. Something fierce. I kind of go crazy about it. It's fine. Okay. It was delightful.
But is the floor a shelf?
Yes.
No, it's not. The floor is not a shelf.
Okay. Well, we both covered what's in our cup. We should cover any sort of woolly things we have been wearing.
Yeah, cool threads.
I'm wearing a cardigan today. I'm wearing my Mallow cardigan, which is a pattern I finished ages ago. I've got my yarn all wrapped up in my pattern. That's great. This one, I believe I knit out of Estelle Worsted. Jocelyn's not too sure. I remember where I bought it from. I remember where I bought it from, but I don't remember exactly the yarn. Anyway, it's a sweater done in pieces. It's a free pattern. It's called the Mallow because the back of it has a really pretty lace pattern, which actually, if I take it off, I can show you guys. Anyway, let me strip in a very non-sexy manner. Ugh. I don't do sexy strip teases. I'm too old. But here's that lace patterning across the back of it.
Yep, I do still want one of those.
I really, really freaking liked this pattern. This one is definitely 50% acrylic, 50% worsted. I definitely want a cotton version for the summertime because of this beautiful mesh paneling in the back.
That's really pretty.
So I need to make another one of these, and it's been on my to-do list. I don't just randomly have a stash of cotton at the right weight in one color, and I do want one color, so I have to go buy some cotton yarn. God, the word.
Oh, the hardship. Terrible.
So terrible. Anyway, not terrible at all, but it did get washed this weekend, so mostly I went upstairs and talked to my sister and said, hey, are you using that hanging rack for the next 2 days? And she said, I'm not now. I said, cool. And I washed my wools and I draped them over the hanging rack to dry. It's because I can put the back and lay it out flat, but then I can hang the hems and the arms over, and the weight on the water kind of stretches the arms back where I want them to go.
Mm-hmm. I found when in this house in the laundry area, there was just one of those like flat sweater drying racks, and it has been so useful.
So handy. So handy. So that's what I'm wearing. I did leave my house. I went to my front yard this week.
Whoa. Outdoors.
Oh, I went outdoors in +1 weather without a hat or a shawl. And I didn't even do my winter coat up. I just sat outside in my front boots. I did eventually do my coat up, and then, of course, being the adult that I was, called my sister who was inside the house and demanded my hat and shawl. She brought it to me. After lecturing me for going outside without my hat or my shawl on.
Uh-huh. You know, as you do.
Whatever. I took my knitting, my camping chair, and my tea. I had the important things.
Indeed. I threw my yarn on the floor. There we go.
It's a shelf.
It's not a shelf. I will die on this hill. I have declared that this is the hill that I will die on. I will stay on this hill for
This
the
is
rest
your
of my
hill?
life.
This is your hill?
I'm not gonna like die immediately on the hill. I don't need to be like a martyr on the hill, but like I'm never getting off this hill. So eventually in the future, when I do die just of natural causes, I will still be on this hill.
Okay.
Yeah.
You would like your tombstone to read, "No, really. A floor is not a shelf."
Yes. That's my epitaph. The floor is not a shelf.
A floor is not a shelf. Everybody looks at everybody funny. It's an inside joke. It's okay, guys. It's fine.
Floor is not a shelf.
I did imagine them asking your niece and nephew and them going, "My aunt was, unique." Anyway, cool threads was what we were talking about.
I wore my hat this week.
Okay, good.
My totally tubular hat to go cat sitting.
Sure, why not?
And to like go for a walk because I live in an area that's nice to go for walks now.
Woohoo! It's good.
It's nice little chunk of student housing that's kind of nice. It's like a little chunk of like 1970s suburbia, 1980s.
Okay.
But it's right next to all the universities like Laurier and Waterloo.
Okay.
So it's basically just all students in here.
Nice. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I mean, you said suburbia, and my brain started saying, I'm living in hell. So, but
no, not that kind of suburbia. No,
my
like
suburbia are quite also ranty.
No, it was suburbia once. Now it's basically just student housing.
That's fair. That's not nearly as suburbia as the suburbia I live. I live in hardcore suburbia.
Yes, you do.
And I hate it. With a really big passion, I hate it. All right. Shall we talk about what we're working on?
Yeah, we have the same number of things this week.
That's because I was in a sweater off. I don't know if you know this, dear. We did live check-ins on Wildflower Wool's channel. I told you about it. It was a big to-do.
Oh yeah, you were gonna knit that sweater in 2 weeks or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think I might have heard you mention that.
You might have heard me mention that. You might have heard that I finished it.
Okay, let's see this thing. Because I missed the live, so I want to see.
Worst friend ever.
I'm sorry.
Turn on YouTube to watch from the comfort of her pajamas.
I'm sorry. I kind of.
I
forgot. I forgot after I did the show notes. I put it in the show notes and it's just boom, done.
But by the time I realized that Louise hadn't said your name, my brain went, "Oh, she forgot today was Thursday, and that it was the live," and she's gonna be like, "I forgot." Goober.
I put it in the show notes and then I'm like, "Okay, cool, that's done. Don't need that in my brain anymore."
This is my completed habanero sweater. It keeps going.
And so in 2 weeks, you did all of that in 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks, baby, from cast on to bind off, including weaving in my ends. The only thing I didn't manage to get done by by Thursday was washing and blocking, which happened this weekend. And if you guys seen the Instagram posts, my cat messed up my collar blocking because she lied on the bloody thing. The monster that she is. I ended up going with elbow length sleeves, given the weight that I had going on. I forgot to trim off an end. Go me. And then I am past the butt on my body, complete with really pretty lace paneling. Now, I blocked this bad boy to open up the lace and to make sure that this knit weave was really loose and fluffy. And I did that on purpose. So I knit a worsted weight yarn into a bulky knit sweater on gauge. On gauge. The fit is beautiful. And I did it for one specific purpose. If you can see, as I'm holding it here, there is nothing but drape on this bad boy. It floats like a silk. It's just drapey and weavy and is going to be perfect over spring summer dresses, which is what it was made for.
I am so excited to see pictures of it out in the world when it is safe to do so.
Well, that'll be sometime in May in this province, by the time there's no flood lake growing outside of my front yard. And it
Yeah.
gives me time to rewash and reblock because the cats certainly helped, as cats do. So I'm gonna I'm not doing it this week. I'm gonna wear it for a little bit, get comfortable in it, and then I will reblock it before I take photos and stuff of it. So photos are a bit away, but that is one sweater in 2 weeks and done.
Well. Okay then.
It's light enough that I probably could wear it while we podcast because it's like the mallow. It's got a really nice breathability to it, which is important because I sit under lamps and they get hot, and then I get hot, and then I'm grumpy.
Yep. The struggle is real.
The struggle is real. So that was
podcasting nights are hot.
They really are. So that is my FO. That is my completed item.
Okay.
And you know what? We're going to do it again next year. So start prepping, Diana, as I feel like you need to jump in and try this out and see if you can do it.
Oh, guaranteed I cannot. Wait, do I get to do it in super like jumbo bulky yarn?
Yeah, you can. Okay. Whatever. We're
then I can do it.
Me and Louise were talking, and it's going to be a self challenge for anybody who joins us. So if you want to do a cropped bulky in 2 weeks, that's your challenge.
Okay, I can do that.
You gotta set a goal for yourself. I'm like, if I can do a bulky in 2 weeks and I've thrown out my back, I could absolutely attempt a worsted.
I could also do one that's not like tunic length, and that would also be easier.
Yeah, I mean, a regular yoke color work worsted sweater, I could totally do that in 2 weeks, I feel like, because I did the bulky on essentially what was like a week because I was out for most of the first week with my back. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I will never attempt a fingering in 2 weeks. Even I know I have limits, but I feel like I could attempt a worsted in 2 weeks next year. So that's what I'm going to try. Not tunicked, not tunicked.
All right, so I'm going to let that digest in the back of my brain until next year.
Would you forget till I ask you in early February if you're joining us?
Mm-hmm. And of course, I'll say yes, and then I'll go, why the heck did I say yes to that?
Sure. I don't know, but I love talking you into things.
You're very good at it.
Yeah.
All right. So I've been working on my podcast anniversary knit, which is the Ome tee. I am halfway through the lace.
Halfway?
Well, I'm a few rows short of halfway through the lace as written. I'm going to keep doing the lace, I think, until this ball of yarn is mostly used up, because it's pretty. I want to use it up. And the lace is pretty.
But you don't see me arguing with you, so.
If I can put this in front of my face so that it's in focus, but I can still see what I'm doing. There. You can kind of actually see the lace pattern now. So it's got a column of decreases that wiggle back and forth and a column of pairs of eyelets that wiggle back and forth for a vaguely shell-like effect. So it'll have a scalloped bottom.
Nice.
Which I'm excited about.
Trust me, I needs to cast that on.
Oops, I rolled into stuff. Okay, so if I...
For those.
Everybody's going to find out exactly how long my hair is now.
It's still off screen.
It is still not in frame. Okay. My hair just on being out of frame. Anyway, so we're at approximately hip length right now, and yeah, I'm just gonna keep going until, I don't know, till it's tunic length or I run out of yarn.
Okay, that works.
That's the plan, because then I'm going to put it on top of, I have this white dress with flowers that are kind of yellow and pink, and I think roughly in the same color palette. And so I think putting this on top of that dress in early spring would be really nice.
At least so cute.
I think it would be super cute.
Okay. I'm for this. I'm down for it. I think that needs to happen.
But yeah, I was mentioning earlier that I've done approximately as much tinking as I have knitting on this. I can't actually see. There we go.
I understand tinking sucks, and it's not something any of us enjoy. I am so happy you were being held up. I am
I just
so
can't win with this
happy you're not
stuff. Like,
and I'm done my podcast anniversary knit, and I haven't even finished my body yet. Oh God, I'd be so mad. I mean, you probably still will, but that's okay.
Like, it's really simple. It's the same lace and it's just offset every other row. So like it's the same thing. And so I keep thinking
eyelet, right?
It's sort of eyelet. It's
lace.
Yeah, it's the simple lace.
Just don't do well with it.
It's because I think I can do it without thinking about it, but I can't. So I screw it up, and then I get to the end of the round and I have like 1 or 2 stitches left over, and I'm like, crap. So I have to knit back until I figure out where I screwed it up. And then there was a horrible day where I dropped the stitch. And of course I don't have a lifeline in it because it's simple, right? And I dropped a stitch in one of the eyelet parts.
You're lucky that I'm lazy when it comes to editing. Otherwise, I would drop in a clip of several weeks back when I went, you should put a lifeline in.
I know. I was just like knitting away and like not paying attention because I was watching something. I might have been in a meeting at work, honestly. I don't remember. And I'm just knitting along and I'm like, oh no, this doesn't feel right. And I look down and there's this big ladder in the lace section. I'm like, oh no. Fortunately, it was just a couple of the yarn overs that I had dropped. And because those are made stitches, it only went down like 3 or 4 rows.
Yeah.
But then I had to stare at it for like 45 minutes trying to figure out how to ladder it back up so I didn't have to unknit like 6 rows.
Yeah.
I did
Still
it.
worth it. Still worth it. Still less
Very
time than unknitting 6 rows and reknitting them.
Yeah. So yeah, I took 45 minutes and I figured it out, and I honestly can't even see the spot to show you where I screwed it up because I actually fixed it properly. So I can fix dropped stitches in lace, which is wonderful. Fixing dropped stitches in lace sucks. I do not recommend it. Lifelines are your friend. Do that. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do.
And there's your PSA for the week.
Yeah. I have honestly probably tinked 50% as much as I have knit since starting the lace section. And I don't think that's an exaggeration.
That's painful.
It's so painful.
The little person inside me who's not nice or kind is so excited I still have a chance to at least maybe get more of the body of my Half Moon Tea knit before you finish your whole project.
You have this much time.
I have that much time. Okay.
You have this much time.
Okay.
I guess I should say what the colors are. This color, my last color, is, I believe, Sexy Nerd from Feisty Fibers was this one.
Okay.
The yellow is Dahlia Dior from KFX Luxury or something. And the glorious purple is Gravity from Robo Sheep. And I believe these all came from a store in Toronto because I believe this was the 3 skeins that my brother got me for Christmas a few years ago that I'm like, these are gorgeous and you absolutely picked the right colors. I have no idea what they're going to be.
I want to say yes because I remember for sure the Feisty Fibers was, and I think they came as a set that your brother had picked up for you.
I think so.
All I remember is they all came into your possession at roughly the same time, and we both all liked the colors. We were very excited about your colors that you got. So
and I had no clue what they were going to be, especially the yellow, because I really can't put yellow near my face. Like yellow near my face is just.
But hey,
it's not a good color near my face. But it can be a belt.
You found a way to use it.
I still have lots more yellow too, so it can be a belt on something else.
Okay, yeah.
Or for color work. Ooh, maybe that's my moon colors for when I do the Half Moon Tea.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Could be.
That's just been decided.
Okay.
the rest of the color palette needs to be built around that remaining skein.
That's fine. Make it your pop, and then it gives you a lot of freedom. Mm-hmm. All right. I've got my podcast anniversary knit chilling in one of my Sew Into Knitting bags, because of course it is. And then for fun, I've had a very wacky sleep schedule. It kind of goes with insomnia and depression and just not having a normal brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I was up at 6 in the morning knitting when I realized in a panic that the needle that I had my sleeves on had broke. Like the end had come off because I used fixed circulars, right? So the needle had come off from the cord.
Oh
So I had a
no.
moment of sheer panic because this lives in bed with me, guys. Like it sleeps off to the side. So I sleep, it sleeps, my cat sleeps. And since I have to wake up to roll over, this is perfectly efficient because I don't roll on it. I have to wake up to roll over. I am aware of what I'm doing when I roll over. So after I had a mild panic attack, realized I had new knitting needles that showed up last week because my mom put my new knitting needles in the mail for me. Immediately got out of bed. Noting, guys, I had just gotten into bed at 6 in the morning because I was getting ready to go to sleep. Tired finally. And I immediately got all none of the stitches had dropped, but I immediately transferred them to my new ChiaoGoo needles. So the first thing my 4mm ChiaoGoo needles are being used for is to hold the stitches on my sleeves. I had that panic this morning happen to me. Oh,
That is a wow.
that's a moment where you're like,
My heart is racing for you, just in sympathy, empathy, whatever the correct athy.
I think it's empathy because you have likely done this where you've been knitting and realized your knitting needle broke. And
Something
you have
similar,
that
yeah.
first moment of, oh my God, did I drop stitches? That if I had dropped stitches in fingering, it would have spelled disaster for this project because I cannot pick fingering weight stitches up
Oh no.
because I can't see them. I can't see them. So I can't even pick them up if they're dropped. Not if I've dropped all the shoulder stitches and have to pick them up by hand. I would have been so screwed.
Oh
If it's
no.
one stitch, maybe with a magnifying glass in like an hour and a half, I could manage it, but I couldn't have managed 7 or 8 stitches. That would have been too much for me to do on my own. So then it would have had to sit till the next time I was allowed to have people come over to help me rescue the project. So this very nearly became an unfinished whip for 2022.
Oh no.
Which would have made
Oh.
me so mad because I want to wear this thing so bad. But I did this week make some progress on my body because I got my little progress keeper just chilling there. And then I knit all the way up here on my body.
Nice. You're
Which
catching
given,
up.
which given that I have a 48-inch body working on here, that's a lot of stitches at fingering. So we make progress. Because I am going to be tight on your yardage for color A. Because we're going to do something I don't normally do, which is play yarn chicken. I'm going to finish the body first. Because if I have to, I can bind off the sleeves as is. I'll just give them my cute little I-cord bind off or a ribbing bind off in the white color or in
Yeah,
the blue.
that'd work.
I can fudge a cap sleeve easily enough, but I can't fudge the length if the length in the body's wrong.
This is true.
So I've got to wait till I'm done my skeins. I am knitting them alternatively. So I'm still working on the first 2 skeins that I have, and I'm going to see how far I can get. But I don't have a ton of body done, mostly because I can show you, because I can stick my hand in where my armpit is to hold up the rest of it. I am sitting at about maybe, all told, 6 or 8 inches of body. So like I'm at the point in the cropped sweater where I would be doing the ribbing and binding off, but I'm not making a crop sweater. I'm making a full t-shirt thing. So we keep going. We keep going. The only downside to it is I realized that I'm going to participate in a Stephen West knit along cast on tomorrow on Zoom, and I need one of these 4mm needles. So I'm going to have to transfer stitches tonight before I go to bed, which is fine. I don't mind doing it. My main body A for this Dragon Horde design is being made out of some Zen Yarn Gardens. I have one skein that I have not kicked up yet, and this is the Cottage Girl colorway. So I have the 2 that I've already kicked up that I'm working on. Once they are done, obviously one's got less than the other, so I'll put this one in as soon as it's done to keep the alternating. Whatever I have left once I'm done the body, I will split in half, and that's what I have for sleeves, and that's it. So I might still end up, like if I'm super lucky, I can get the elbow length sleeves because I'll have the colorwork chart in there on her pattern. And if not, I can make it a cap sleeve and make it work. It'll be fine. It'll still look pretty. It just won't be what I wanted to start with, but it's you do
Close
what you gotta
enough.
do. You know, it is what it is. And I can't magically make more of that yarn appear, so I've got to do and work with what I've got.
Mhm.
That's fine. The biggest thing is I didn't drop any stitches. I gave myself a panic attack at 6 a.m. this morning, and then I went to bed for 6 hours.
Good
That
call.
was weird brain. It's fine. But that was it's my bed project because it's just round and round. So like I listen to the news in the morning and I knit on it. I listen to the news at night before I go to bed, or the morning before I go to bed because I don't find it stressful for the most part. Sometimes I yell at people on the news, but not often.
It's an interesting hobby, yelling at people on the news.
I only really get grumpy when we have elections going on. And you
Fair.
get the inevitable person who comes out and says that they can't be bothered to Google people in their district, municipality,
Oof.
better. Those people I just yell at the TV screen when those people come on because I get so mad. I'm like, but you will spend hours Googling your favorite celebrity. So I don't buy this whole, it's too hard for you to Google your politicians. It makes me yell at the screen mad. All right, I've got one more project.
I believe that means it is my turn to talk about a thing.
It is.
I resurrected a hibernating whip
Woo!
because it rained today, which made me go, oh heck, it's almost spring. I should finish that double layered colorwork sweater so that I can wear it.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of time left. I still have like at least a month.
Yeah, it's super dope. I have like a couple weeks maybe.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I resurrected the 8-bit sweater. And oops, well, I threw all my yarn on the floor, that's fine. Today I finished the Boo chart, which is the ghost from the Mario universe.
Excellent.
The little ghosts. So many little ghosts. They're all done now. So the very next thing I have to do is attach the sleeves. And then roundy with the controller chart, which I have decided that I am not in fact going to modify to have more appropriate buttons because I just want to get this thing done and I don't want to go mucking around with somebody else's charts.
Hey, if you let me know once your sweaters, like your sleeves are on and you're ready to start your game controller chart, we could race because I'm at the point where my sleeves are attached and I'm ready to start the game controller chart.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Well. Hang on, my yarn is so incredibly tangled all around itself and in my hair. Oh gosh, this is just horrible.
And both of us have exceedingly weird long work hours. Well, long in my mind. Especially with it being March.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that would be a
So,
fun challenge.
wait, can I hold up? No, I cannot. I totally cannot hold up all of these sleeves all at once. Okay. There's the star sleeve and the mushroom sleeve and the sweater body, and good grief, this thing is going to be absolutely ridiculous. I am so excited for this sweater.
Just
And
wait till you work in those rows. Oh, they're long rows.
I am absolutely fascinated to see how one knits sleeves onto a body like this. I've never done this before. Never done a bottom-up sweat. Well, not a bottom-up sweater with separate sleeves is not a thing that I have done.
I found the construction of it quite easy. Like it was a bit long, but as long as I was paying attention, it was fine. It'll be the grafting the underarms at the end that I think is right now is causing me some confusion, but I suspect that's just because I've never done it before.
Gosh, this is just I'm so freaking excited. I love all of these charts. I dislike the giant expanses of blank space in Pac-Man and Boo. Carrying your floats across like 16 stitches of one color is no fun.
It becomes a bit of a pain in the keister. Yep.
But I think There's no more of that? No, that's a
There's
lie.
there's some
There's
in
a
the
line or two in the
controller.
controller.
Yeah, but it's not quite as all over as it is in the Pac-Man or Boo.
Anyway, so this is coming together. I finished the Boo today and hopefully can get sleeves attached. Okay, totally not tonight. Tomorrow night.
I'm like, dude, do you already know how late it is already for you? I don't think you're working on it after we're done this.
No, I definitely am not. I had grand plans, and then I saw the time, and those grand plans went down the toilet.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have a lot of leftover yarn though. I think I could probably make like a matching hat.
Ooh, that'd be exciting.
I feel like that could be very, very cute.
My brain was thinking maybe matching headband, but sure.
Yeah, I like hats.
You like hats. That's fair.
A nice classic colorwork hat with a pom-pom.
I'm hoping to have leftover yarn, so we'll see how that goes. But that is my hope. You're making yours out of some Knit Picks yarn, aren't you?
Yes, Knit Picks Wool of the Andes.
Woo, that's what I made my habanero out of.
It's nice yarn. I enjoy it.
Yarn. It's very good yarn. My 8-bit's out of Briggs and Little Sports. So.
That sweater is very warm. Like it wasn't even on me and I'm just warm now.
It's full color work from top to bottom. It's a weighty sweater.
It's gonna be toasty.
Weighty sweater. But yeah, I feel like a sweater competition between you and me would be great fun because I also have to steek mine and knit a band or sew a zipper into it. Probably knit a band. So
you have fun with that.
I have more to do than you do. If that makes sense.
You can have all your fun with that. I'll just be over here doing a straightforward roundy sweater.
I will enjoy it. Thank you very much. So I suppose that leaves my last thing, doesn't it?
Yes, I believe we have the same last thing.
We do have the same last thing. So I've been working on my pattern, the King's Flame, after I finished my sweater, which, if you remember from last Sunday, had a body. Mostly. I think I was like at the hem or something, or I just finished the hem on Sunday. Don't even remember. So Monday night was sleeves, Tuesday night was button band, Wednesday night was sleeves, Thursday was showing off the sweater and knitting on my half moon tee because I needed a break. And it was Critical Role, and they ended on a cliffhanger, and I was very grumpy about that. May have been some angry texting. I both love and hate cliffhangers. Love them because good dramatic points, you're super into the story. Hate them because it's a cliffhanger.
I understand.
So, this Thursday cannot come soon enough. Cannot come soon enough. I don't know why I'm still babbling and not showing it off. I just started a row, and I am well into the over the halfway point on a crescent-shaped shawl. These rows are huge. This is always the point where I go, I regret my choice in life in this shawl. But I know I'm going to love it when I'm finished, so I'm going to keep working on it, people. Asa is officially ahead of me. Not that that should shock anybody. So I am working on a crescent-shaped shawl that involves a ton of buttons. We keep calling them knot stitches. That's not what they are. It's an Estonian button stitch. So I've just started into my second section of lace detailing. So you can see that first little ribbon down there.
Mm-hmm.
So what's going to happen now is, since obviously we're looking at the bottom of the shawl, is it started out in this white gradient yarn that I have. And then I've got that strong color contrast of like that super deep, it's, I want to say like blood red, like that deep movie noir blood red. Like it's not real, but it's got that really deep, rich coloring to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it'll move away. So we'll have a smaller row of buttons and more lace, smaller buttons, more lace, till it's all lace and no buttons towards the end. So what you'll get is this fade out of the, in this case, the button stitches into the lace stitches. So the button solid part, which is up near your neck and your chest, really, quite frankly, where you want something a little more protective for the girls, into the lace where it can be a little more decorative for fun. So it slowly but surely comes together. My rows are massive.
Uh-huh.
But I knew that was going to happen, so it's fine. I also really enjoy working on the lace, and it's an easy lace that doesn't cause me grief, so it's going to drive Diana nuts.
Absolutely guaranteed. 100% gonna screw up this lace multiple times.
So long as we know what that's going on, and it's fine. The theory is, as I keep going and I fine tune it, I'll write a pattern out for it, and then we'll be good to go. So that's happening. I'm currently working, obviously, in my contrast red color. I do not have a lot of the 200 grams left for my buttons, but I shouldn't at this point because I'm over the halfway point of the shawl, or I'm at about halfway point of the shawl, and I will not need that much of my first color anymore, since the bulk of my first color is in the top half of the shawl. So I am just slowly making my way that way. I'm working on it while we record. There is no release date for this yet because I don't know for sure when I'll be done. Because I'm a me, so I'm obviously joining a knit along cast on tomorrow for Stephen West Cal.
Obviously.
Because of course I am. On Zoom. Which one of the two Stephen Wests I'm gonna pick up? I don't know. I have the Starflake prepped and ready to go, and I have Winter Lights I want to pick back up. Because remember I had to tink it because I got halfway through section 1 and then realized I was actually doing it right. So then it didn't look good. So I gotta decide which one of the two I want to work on and do that one. I think it'll probably be the Winter Light one because that's the one I really want to finish real soon. Whereas Starflake, Starlight, I don't remember what it's called. It was his MCal last year. Can wait, and I can start it this summer or something. That'll be fine. So I know for sure that's happening. I'm also casting on socks tomorrow because it'll be the 1st of March tomorrow, and I'm gonna see if I can do a pair of socks in the month. Because if I can do a pair of socks in the month, like the crazy goober that I am, the Friday night knits group is going to attempt a set your own sock challenge for Easter weekend. And some people are going for a full pair of socks in 3 days. No. Like even at a bulky, that'd be a stretch. But I think I might be able to do a single sock in 3 days. If I can manage a pair of socks in a month, I can manage one sock in 3 days as a challenge, I think.
I think I might be able to do a pair of socks in 3 days if that is the only thing that I do for 3 days.
That's pretty much what it is. It's just that's what you work on. So, but it's going to be over Easter weekend, so I'm going to try. What's the worst that happens? Oh no, I've started a sock, but I haven't finished it. Ah, the horror. It'll be just the worst.
Could do a pair of socks. When's Easter weekend? Hang on, I might have to try this.
April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I believe.
Okay. I might try this. I might try for a pair of socks in 3 days.
It's a 3-day commitment. If I don't make it, whatever. It's not like I've denoted 2 weeks to this challenge. It's a 3-day can you, can't you? And I want to try. And I'll figure if I do it one sock at a time and I manage to get like one sock done in like a day and a half, I'll push to get the second sock done. But if I don't, whatever. I'm still working on
one sock in 3 days would still be
beautiful.
It would still be quite something.
Yeah. So
I'm proud of myself when I get one sock done in a week.
That's fair. Well, then I'm thinking because we've got all this sock yarn coming to us this year. It just true. It just makes sense. That's got to happen. And from the not subtle hints also is dropping about the March socks. They're going to be pretty.
Completely not subtle.
Not even remotely.
I saw what bird the inspiration for March is, and it's like red and black and white and gray and like
gorgeous. It's gonna be gorgeous. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So that's happening. So that's my thinking on that one. But I know for sure if I don't get into the habit of working on a sock a little bit every day, it'll kill me to have to just work on one sock for 3 days straight. So but that's okay because again, I got a bunch of knitting needles for Valentine's Day. Mom finally put them in the mail for me because it's my mom. She knows she can drop in the mail whenever. And in that set of 4 new four, Dad bought all 4 I requested ChiaoGoo needles.
Wow.
That's over $50 in knitting needles, guys. I'm Canadian. They start at $15 and they go up from there per needle.
But hey, now you got a lot of really nice needles.
Really nice needles. So I have sitting somewhere over here, just off. I got a pair over here. I got a 5mm and a 2.25mm that haven't started anything yet.
Oh, well, they're cold. You better start something.
The 5mm is going to be for a sweater, and that's going to happen when I'm done my 8-bit, because my 8-bit's on a 5mm. It's sport, so I'm going to start another one. But my 2.25s, this will be the second pair of sock knitting needles I own.
Multiple pairs of socks?
Well, one, if you guys remember in that bag way back there, in my coffee bag from Dragon Horde yarn. Nope, Dragon Fiber bags.
Fiber. Yeah.
Lots of dragons on the internet, people. My Be Relentless fingerless mittens are in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Which I haven't had a chance to pick up. But those I knew were going to be pick up and put down a lot, mostly because you have to think a lot while you're making those.
I feel you. I've got a lot of thinky projects right now.
Yeah, where I'm like, some of my projects are not so thinky, and that's the thing I want to work on. So, but this month I want to get King's Flame done in March. I want to get the Half Moon Tea, more work done on the Half Moon Tea, and then I think socks. And for fun, I'll cast on the Stephen West, because then I can tease myself by going, well, once you're done your shawl design, you can pick your Stephen West back up, which might be what I need. It might be what I need. But it's March. It's a full month. Heavens only knows where I'll go, guys.
Could be doing something totally different at the other end.
It's entirely feasible. All right. I think that's it for stuff we worked on.
I haven't showed my tiny little bit.
Your progress on yours.
Yeah, it's like no progress at all. This is the simplest thing I have to work on while we record, because it's not lace and it's not color work.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having a reasonably simple pattern.
Don't get me wrong. By the time you're done, you will be over buttons, but that's normal when you do a shawl where you've just got a 2 pattern alternating.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the end,
that's fine.
You're just done with it. So
I really love how this yarn looks with the buttons, though, because the colors just clump up so nicely.
It looks so good with the buttons. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You might notice our button density is different, astute viewers at home. And that is because I'm working off of rough notes. These rough notes did not include any knit stitches between the buttons. That's so okay. I did not do any knit stitches between my buttons.
That's okay. I'm going to just say one's a small size version, one's a large size version, because mine will be bigger in the end.
Yep. So, meh. I think I'm going to keep doing it this way, because I
like the
texture
so much. I'm going to do it that way in the next one.
My hair is all over this thing. Okay.
I'm not sure people will notice between the fall colored browns and
yeah, probably not. My hair is roughly the red tone of this.
Probably blends in more than you think it does.
Well, that makes perfect sense because the colorway name is Diana.
Mm-hmm. It does, in fact, make perfect sense.
So yeah. The yarn I'm using is Malabrigo Makita in the Diana colorway. I've got a second skein of this that I have not caked up yet. And it is, as I've finally remembered to describe the colors in case anybody's just listening instead of watching, fall colors. It is green and red and purple, tiny bit of orange, but generally fall colors, which is great because that's my favorite time of year.
Excellent.
It's like moody fall. And it's a lovely soft single ply, so I'm very excited to have this as a shawl.
I'm super stoked with how it's working out for this pattern.
And then my contrast for the lace is just plain black. I guess a slightly heathered black. I don't know, it's pretty. I think it's just the nylon is catching the light and making it look a little more heathered than it is, because when it's not directly in the light, it just looks like, come on, standard black.
That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that.
I like it.
It is my recording knitting at the moment because it's not lace or color work.
Mine is recording knitting today because I wanted to get through this lace section before I went to bed, and we're getting late into the day.
We are. So let us blast on to, if I can find my show notes, Wool Gathering.
Woohoo!
This section contains the usual. We have Patreon if you want to financially support us. At any of the tiers, you get access to our Discord server and Experimental Tuesday blog posts and early access to bonus content when we post that. Coming up sometime in the nebulous, not too far future will be a tour of my ridiculous 1970s house built by a German architect who loved ships, and you can tell.
Yeah.
As evidenced by my office is a disco ball.
My new to me project bag and your office need to meet. I feel like that's a photograph waiting to happen.
My office is a disco ball. In case anybody has been staring at my background going, what is that background? It is, in fact, a wall of mirror tiles, like a disco ball. The wallpaper in here is even shiny. It is floral 70s wallpaper that is silver metallic shiny.
Diana,
Uh-huh.
I still have the pattern from when I used to make 60s flared pants in satin that I wore in public. I could do a whole outfit.
Oh my god, you
create
could
the pattern.
match.
We could time warp your house. I think I have enough patterns to do almost every room in your house, from like the 90s, your office. The pub would be the hardest. I'd have to get started right away because that would be full on historic costume.
Uh-huh.
But I think mine is your bedroom. I think I have all of it covered in patterns I already own.
Do you have something that's sort of generically Southeast Asian without being from any one specific country?
Not yet, but I will certainly go buying some.
We got derailed again. I was talking about Patreon.
You were talking about Patreon.
Oh, yeah, Patreon. If you support us at the higher tiers of Patreon, just to bring that back to the conversation like 10 minutes ago. If you support us at the higher tiers on Patreon, once a month we do a live knit-in where we just hang out on a Saturday afternoon for us, evening for some other folks, morning for some other folks. And yeah, we just hang out and chat and knit like a little online knitting club.
We are an online knitting club.
Yeah. We're also like a knitting club, but we are a knitting club, which is why we're like a knitting club. It's getting late and I'm getting silly.
You are. It is after Diana's bedtime on a Sunday, guys.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I'm not going there.
I never found out the answer to that riddle, and it always bothered me.
I'm already just randomly going to be buying you simplicity patterns because I know what dress size you are and mailing them to you as costume pieces to work towards, because now I feel like you need an outfit for every room in your house. All right. Our next Patreon meetup is going to be on the 20th of March. It's going to run from noon Manitoba time till whenever we're done. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 4. Whenever people decide they got to go, really. Unless Diana's busy because she has like real life people coming over, something crazy like that. So, weirdo that she is. So that happens. The only other things that we've got going on right now is we're obviously rolling into the last month of the podcast anniversary, which means it's the last month to work on your item to help us celebrate 4 years of podcasting. Any item counts so long as it is a garment of an adult size, requires 2 or more skeins, and you started it January 1st-ish.
We'll take ish. Ish is fine.
Ish. Like Christmas Day through, next week. Whenever you want to start, however fast you knit, it's totally fine. Everything needs to be done by the 31st of March, mostly because if we're honest, I still won't check till like the 4th or 5th of April anyway, so it has to be done the 31st-ish. That's another ish kind of deadline. That's how we run these things. And only other rule we've said is that it has to be a new to you designer. Bonus points if it's a BIPOC designer or a male designer, because we need to feature those people more. So we need less of the top 10 and more of everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah. Mostly because, guys, my favorite bundles have not been growing quickly enough. So if you could just go ahead and start spamming me interesting BIPOC designers, that would be great. Thanks. Totally fallen down the Korean Japanese hole. Do not worry. I am there for it. You know it. I have been talking to Fireweed Fiber Co. I am ordering a sweater's quantity in her mini from her January sock set, and it is becoming my rosette sweater.
Oh,
because that purple mini is going to be the body of the sweater, and it's a fingering weight sweater. And then her January colorway for the sock club is going to be the color work at the top of the colorwork cube top. Yeah, that's happening.
Oh, that's gonna be pretty.
I need to get prices back for it, so I know how much I gotta put aside for it. So that's gonna happen. But that's happening because that's on my Make 9 this year. So I'm like, I gotta cast that on by fall, or I won't be done in time. So that's going on. After that, we don't have really like a ton on the plate.
Next week we're live for our birthday week.
We are. I don't consider that like on our plate. Like we don't have like any big things going on. I think it's just the going live for our birthday week. We've got some stuff in the pipes in the works. Diana's always delightfully surprised. I do all the background stuff for it. So like keep your ears peeled. And we'll go. That's always a weird statement, right? Peeling your ears.
Peeled. Why? I don't know why you want to peel anything on
I
your
don't.
vine. I'm not going to go there.
It's a thing. So I've got some stuff coming down the pipeline for later in the year for you guys, but for now, it's just that. And then we're doing our birthday celebration on the 7th of March, mostly because my birthday is the 10th of March, Diana's is the 11th of March, and we're going to take that week off because we can. So we're treating ourselves with no show notes and no editing. We're just going to be live this coming Sunday.
So bring your cake, bring your tea, and join us for some live shenanigans.
Absolutely. And since it's a birthday one, it'll be long and expansive because we'll have to stop to eat said cake.
Absolutely.
Because I'll
donuts in my case.
It's a live stream. I obviously will be eating. Hello.
Obviously.
There is a tradition I have to maintain now. People expect this from me, and I am happy to oblige them. It's because we start everything at noon Manitoba time, which is an excellent time for most of the time zones for the people that watch us. And that is my lunch hour. I'm doing the best I can, people, but I have breakfast fairly early in my morning. So by noon I am hungry. I want something. I did get some new instant miso soups. So maybe I'll drink some miso soup and then miso soup and then I will have my cake. I don't know.
We'll just cake.
Just cake? Just cake?
Just cake.
I'll be turning 30. I don't know where we are anymore. What section are we working on? When did we finish?
I think we just finished wool gathering, so we just had literature left.
That's all you.
That's all me. All right. Everybody, pause your knitting for a second. You might drop stitches. Jocelyn only read one book. I read more books than Jocelyn.
Technically, I was halfway done a book that's only supposed to take an hour and 25 minutes. So I read for 30 minutes this week, and that was it. And I do not feel bad about it because we checked Goodreads before we started this. I am already 20 books completed for a 100-book challenge, and we just finished February.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
I'm fine.
I'll be over here with my 2 finished books for the year so far.
Sometime in mid-March, I'll get to your book goal for the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
So like by next week.
I'm not reading 4 books in a week.
You sure?
Maybe. Odds are good I won't read 4 books in a week. I might read 2 books in a week. Depends on how bad I fall down the Anita Blake hole.
Fair.
We'll see.
Would you like to talk about your one book then?
I finished reading God Help the Children by Toni Morrison. It was a amazing little read. It doesn't take terribly long. It is definitely into the capital L literature section of your readings. So you get to feel not only very inspired, a very good reader, but you also get to feel very intelligent and philosophical in your reading habits. Because if you say Toni Morrison to people in book communities, they know who that is.
This is a person I had never heard of before, and while doing show notes last week, I read the blurb about what it's about, and I'm like, oh, nope, that is far too heavy for what I am able to digest mentally right now.
Did not write light topics, and that's fine. It works great for me. I don't have a problem with it. It's not for everybody, but she is definitely one of those book famous people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She's one of those people that there's always that list of authors that if you have them on your desk or if you've read them in your book collection and other incredibly serious or hardcore book readers see, that tells them what kind of books you're into, because everybody has the super popular mainstream stuff on their lists or in their houses, or like everybody, has the Harry Potter books, or they've heard of the Harry Potter books, or they've heard of the Twilight series, or they've heard of 50 Shades of Grey. So it's just niche enough that it tells somebody that you're so far in that you're past Dan Brown at this point in your reading experience and you're reading other people. Most people, if they were to see the bookshelves that I have kept, it is all of my classic literature. It's all of my highbrow books and my Jacqueline Carey's. Like, it's all of my super big epic fantasies, my really big long running series, and, the Iliad, and, the letters of Isgeld and Harold. Like, super obscure things that mean nothing to anybody who isn't so far into the culture. It's crazy. It's like meeting a non-knitter. When you're a knitter, you're like, but they know what knitting is, but they don't know the terms. And you're like, you're so close to being able to speak my language, but you're not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to discourage them, because that would be bad. And I don't want to tell anybody, like, discourage them from reading. Whatever you are reading is perfect. Graphic novels, manga, doesn't matter. Counts. All counts. Books, all counts. It's perfect. I love it. Read more. Whatever your level is, mine's just different. Mine's just different. That's all.
Yeah, I read for escapism. Heavy topics are not escapism.
I like reading to expand my brain.
Yeah. School broke me of any desire to do that.
You think a history degree would persuade me not to ever read heavy books again? Apparently not. What do I know?
All right, I guess I should talk about the stuff that I read this week. Not that I finished anything, but
it's not the light, hard, fluffy stuff, so I tend not to exaggerate or extol its virtues too much, because I know not everybody's into the deep, heavy stuff right now. I think people should try, because it's important.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I'm still in the feed myself junk food phase of dealing with the pandemic, so yeah, later.
I feel like one of those ones, I'll let that excuse pass until your age bracket has been called in Ontario for vaccines, and then I will no longer accept that as an excuse.
You best believe I'm going to be first in line.
I cannot wait. It is so frustrating. I can't go get it right now.
I mean, they're trying to vaccinate everybody all at once, which...
There's billions of us. We got a long...
It's going to take some time.
Gonna take some time. I want that fancy mRNA one. I want the new sciencey one. Not because it's higher percent, whatever. No. They're all effective at preventing severe illness. It's fine. I just want the fancy new science one, so I can say I got the fancy new science one. That's it.
Because they're not all the fancy new science one?
A couple of the other ones that are up now aren't mRNA based. They're more, or they're closer related to like the flu vaccine shot I get every year. So the science is far more, like, it's just, I don't want to say mundane, because it's not mundane. It's still amazing what they've done, but it's something that I'm used to seeing. Whereas I want to try the super fancy new thing because it's fancy and new. I don't need to buy the fancy new phone, but I want to try the fancy new science. That's what I want to do, guys.
With the fancy new vaccine. That old vaccine is just, it's not in vogue anymore.
Well, that and the one that just got okayed can be stored at a much more reasonable temperature range. So like, I want that one to go to people who can't travel to clinics, or who, are at home, or, have helpers that come in. Like, I'd like that to go to people who can't go to a clinic. My butt can go to a clinic. I live in a freaking capital city of my province. We are a tiny, tiny little capital city, but we are one. And I can take my keister, it's not, guys, I'm editing the words in my head because I'm most certainly using the vulgar word in my head, downtown to the convention center, and I can just go get the fancy shot, because I can do that. It's perfectly within my realm. But there's not everybody can. And I'd like the ones that are easier to transport. I want them to be available first to people who can't get to like the RBC Convention Center on a $20 cab ride.
That makes perfect sense.
I want that one out in the small towns. I want that one out where it can do the most good. I can bloody well wait. I can wait. I will not be hurting for choices or options. That's how I look at it.
That makes perfect sense.
All right, you're going to talk about books that you're reading.
Books, yeah, books. Right,
you have more than me. You have more than me, if you think about it.
Yeah, I didn't actually finish any of them, though.
That's fine. When has that
All right.
ever bothered me?
I feel like it doesn't count to say that I have more books than you and I didn't actually finish any of them.
You're making your way on them.
3, 6. Okay. Increase. So this week I tried to I was going to say reinstate, but that implies that it existed before. Start the habit of going for walks every day and tempting myself with an audiobook while I go for these walks. It
Good
kind
choice.
of worked. Kind of worked. I need to schedule my life better to fit this habit in, but it's a start. So I am so close to being done Children of Blood and Bone, which I started back in like the fall. It's only a 17-hour audiobook. It is not complex, but it's taken me this long.
Do you have Audible?
Yeah.
The Sea in the Sky.
Oh, I know. It is on my list.
Because they're like 30-minute episodes, which is a nice walk.
True.
So you get out, do an episode, and you've done your walk for the day. I feel like that would be a good way to help make it more manageable because it's serialized.
Maybe
that might help with the habit.
I just need to schedule time in my day where it's not like raining ice pellets or dark, or just need to schedule my life better.
Your time management things, not my problem.
No, really not.
My own time management problems.
Anyway. So I'm going for audiobooks on walks and physical books reading before bed. The reading before bed habit is going way better. Overwhelmingly do that more often than not.
Excellent.
And as such, I am halfway through a 400-page book. Because 100,000 Kingdoms is just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just doesn't let you stop and rest.
No.
It just does. It just drops a bombshell on your head and then like teases you with some other big reveal, and then we go back to dealing with the bombshell. And like, wait, but
I don't even remember what TV show I watched. But the characters look at others, and it does this reveal, and prepping to do some other heist, and it goes, and we're walking. That's kind of what N.K. Jemisin does. She goes, and info, and we're walking. And you're like, ah.
Yeah, so I am so thoroughly enjoying it. I am really enjoying especially the whole gods thing, and like they're powerful beings, but they have very specific, very hard limits.
Yes.
And just the way that works is so interesting.
Magic in other worlds is so cool.
This being is older than time itself. But also he's just like chilling with you in your grandmother's house.
Yep. Because,
for reasons
you do you.
That I'm getting to.
I'm trying not to spoil any of the books. It's like Critical Role. Like, I can't say anything about it till you're done because I don't remember exact details anymore.
So, yeah. Highly recommending 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. That's so good. So good. I should really go straight to bed after this. I'm not. I'm going to go read more.
Totally fair. I'm in the middle of conversations with podcast, so I'm going to be listening to that. Well, watching it. It's on YouTube before I go to bed, so.
The other media I have been continuing to take in forever and always. Critical Role. I am now. I started the last episode of 2019 today.
What number is that?
89, I think.
Okay.
High 80 something. I'm pretty sure it's 89.
Sure.
And yeah, they just like I've just started the episode, so they've done all their intros and announcements and stuff. And yeah. And in May, we're going to be in London for some such Comic-Con in 2020. And and my heart hurts because they don't know yet what's coming.
Nope, but that's okay. They figure it out soon enough.
Yeah. But it means I'm going to catch up faster than I otherwise would. So that's good.
Which is good because last week
things happen, apparently.
Things happen in an episode. I
excited.
thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a lot to watch, and you took on one heck of a beast. Like catching up to episode nothing.
I did not realize there were that many episodes in campaign 2. I would not have started at the beginning if I had realized. I would have picked some other part to start in at.
Hey, I'm proud of you for doing it because not everybody would. Not everybody would, but it's really good. Let me know if you've got questions and stuff, because I'll certainly give answers if there's any callbacks to anything else that's going on or comes out of campaign 1 and you're like, what? Why is this a thing? Just
there's a few.
I will reply.
There's been a few just like one-off lines, and like mostly at the moment it's just like, Allura, who else is on the Tal'Dorei Council?
I warned you that was going to become an obsession for them.
Yeah, so like that particular joke is completely lost on me. But they're all super into it, so it's fun.
Well, the running theory is where they ended in campaign 1, a couple of them were poised to be on the Tal'Dorei Council.
So they want to know if their old characters are on the okay.
Yeah. That's they want to know what's up with their old characters. So, like anybody, they're curious. They want to know. It's been 20 years. All of them are theoretically alive, except for one, but that's fine. He didn't make it to the end of the campaign.
Oh. And I gathered from the various ads they've been doing for the search for Grog that at the end of campaign 1, something huge and dramatic happens to Grog.
Somebody gave Grog found on a very, very, very lucky roll for treasure hunting. They just killed a dragon, big dude, huge conflict. So they're looting, right?
Uh-huh.
That's what one does.
Yeah, you loot the dragon's hoard, obviously.
You loot the dragon's hoard. And Grog rolled a very, very, very lucky. You have to understand, he has an intelligence of 8, which means nothing if you don't play D&D. And if you play D&D, you understand that that's a -2 modifier to anything you roll. He is not a bright character. The actor who plays Grog currently plays Ford in campaign 2. And he played Idiot Savant. Incredibly. Watch the super shortcuts for Grog. Grog is adorable as all get out. And Grog and his sword is the best. And in his very, very, very lucky call, he got a magical item. He got the Deck of Many Things. Now, any character with any wisdom or intelligence would be wary of such a powerful magical item. Grog, no concept. No concept. You have to understand, a very large chunk of those cards, you pull them, then you die. This is how it works.
Oh, no.
And it's random. You roll the dice to see what card you pull. Grog, not a hot clue. So he pulls a card at some point and gets off really, really lucky. Sweet. This is a deck of magical things. And they don't know Grog has this deck. They don't know what the deck means. They don't know to take it away from him, right? So he pulls another card. Another decent outcome comes. There are good cards in that deck, but it's not stacked in that favor. At the end of the campaign, as they're wrapping up, Grog pulls another card. It doesn't go so well for him this time. So from the character's perspective of Pike, who's Grog's best friend and a gnome to the Goliath, watches Grog pull a card, stare at the card, and then fall over. And that is when they wrap up campaign 1. And you have to wait to see what happens to Grog for a while, from my perspective.
Yeah, I rather gathered that they did the Search for Grog mini campaign wrap-up thing like a year later.
Yep. And then you had, the search for Bob, because they had to get home and Bob had stole the tuning forks they needed to jump the planes while they were searching for Grog. After going somewhere, Allura went, "Oh, yeah, that's not a good place." But that's it. I don't know. We've derailed so much. Are we done now? I
think we're done. I think I talked about the books, and then we got off on a huge Critical Role thing, and yeah.
As we do. All right. In which case, I'll say until next week. Oh, until Sunday. I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you,
Don't forget to knit.
it. Dude, we're getting older.
Yep. Software update 3.0 coming out in a couple weeks.
Software update 3.8. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but here we are.